Oh my giddy yuck. Today is a special day. It's actually March. And I just want to say hi, my little angels, and get started. We're going to do two or three books about bears this month in March. And also, in the middle of books, I'm going to answer one of y'all's questions y'all been asking me. So our first book is called I Remember Cried Grandma Pinky. And it goes a little something like this. It's always a treat for Nutmeg when Grandma Pinky comes to visit. Though Grandma forgets things like where she put her cane or what time the apple pie will finish baking, she remembers special moments from the past, like dancing the raspberry hop with her sister Clover, or racing through a snowstorm on her sleigh, finding the Easter Bunny on the front lawn. Almost anything can spark fun times to share with Nutmeg. In the heartwarming Valentine, and Then and Now, John Wall's tender story combined with Andrea Johnson's lush illustration creates family albums for generations to treasure. Well, let's get started. I Remember Cried Grandma Pinky. Sunday, when Grandma Pinky came to our house, she arrived in a yellow taxi. We were on the steps waving flags. She brought nostrums in a clay pot, which is actually a flower. So here's Grandma Pinky. There's little Nutmeg waving her flag. There's Mama waving her flag and Papa waving his flag. Well, I fluffed up the pillows in the best armchair I could find. I wanted to hear stories about what she remembered. She sat sipping cambric tea, drinking with a cracker. Nutmeg, I remember, she cried, how we went berry picking one summer. I looked and loaded a basket with black and red berries. We picked till it was midnight. My sister Clover and I did a raspberry hop. We wore dresses, oh, I remember so much. So there's Clover and there's Grandma Pinky. But when Grandma Pinky climbed into bed that night, she forgot her shoes and cane, her hot water bottle, and her jar of licorice drops. I carried them up to her and almost tripped. Her false teeth were laying in a green dish by the bed. I gave her a hug and she smiled. I ran out the hall and giggled for the little teeth was in the dish. I never saw that before. I forgot to say good night and she cried. I knew she would forget, so I would tell her the next morning. Well, Monday came, and of course she forgot to tell her. It wasn't easy to get Grandma Pinky in the hammock in the backyard, but once she was there, she was swinging in a slow wind on the grass. I hunted up worms. Suddenly she looked up at the apple tree. I remember. I climbed a tree like that and fell out and broke my left leg. I hobbled around on crutches for weeks. I remember as if it were today, she said, shaking her head. There's Grandma Pinky falling out of the apple tree. Well, before supper we went for a walk, Grandma and me. It took a long time just to go around the block. She stopped in front of my friend Solly's house. I don't remember, said Grandma, blinking her eyes. Was it yesterday or the day before I came? Yesterday, I told her. Solly waved at us from the porch. Grandma had to go home to the bathroom. So here's Grandma and little Nutmeg walking to Solly's house. There's Solly. Well, Tuesday came. I was helping Mother sweep up and dust. Grandma Pinky rushed into the room. I can't find my glasses anywhere, she declared. She began to turn the things upside down. I don't remember where I put them. Mother and I both spoke together. Grandma, you're wearing them on your nose. Grandma smiled sadly at us and went away. There's Grandma with her glasses on her nose. That night I took a bath. Father shampooed me. Grandma Pinky watched from the hall. I remember, cried Grandma, long ago. Our tin tub was in the kitchen next to the stove. I wore a cap. I pretended I steered a ship out to sea. a red bird named Bob that sat near me. Grandma remembers many things, I told Father. He chuckled. She certainly does. There's Grandma in the ship and the bath and the little bird. On Wednesday, Grandma remembered a lot. Mostly she remembered after breakfast. We got a good game of Chinese checkers going. All at once, Grandma laughed out loud. I remember one spring she cried, I was sure the Easter Bunny might never find me. So I became the bunny myself. I tied on a cloth made into ears, little rabbit ears. When the real bunny arrived, I stared at him. He stared at me in surprise. So here's the little bunny laying his little Easter eggs, because you know next month is April and that's Easter. And here's Grandma with little homemade Easter ears. Well, Grandma winked. Nutmeg, how about a deep dish apple pie? Yippee, I yelled. I can make it with my eyes shut, she bragged, trying on an apron. I bought 10 nice new apples in. She sliced them with care. Grandma Pinky, let me sift the flour, I asked. She added brown sugar, butter, cinnamon, and cloves. Next, she put the pie in the oven to bake the apples into the pie. So here's Nutmeg. She's sifting the flour. Here's Grandma putting the apples in. Well, about noon, the kitchen filled with the black as smoke. Mother hurried in. Grandma had gone to take a nap. We was really worried. Mother quickly called the fire department, because anytime there's a fire, always call the fire department first. That's 911. Well, the siren was exciting for me, hearing all the different sounds. Grandma Pinky slept through the whole thing. She forgot her pie. Luckily, the house didn't burn down, she sighed. That evening, Father went to the store to buy another pie. We never told Grandma. Great pie, Grandma, I said. Father gave me a funny look, and we ate it in silence to not let her know that she'd almost caught the house on fire. Well, Thursday, I was shaking small white petals off a bush. They felt like snow on grass. Grandma Pinky was humming to herself. A bee buzzed. She stopped and cried. I remember it well. It was snowing like popcorn. We bundled up in the sleigh with hot bricks to keep our feet warm. Because back in the old days, they used to warm bricks in the oven, and then they'd keep their feet warm. Well, whoosh! We raced through the hill at top speed into the woods. My sister Clover in her sleigh, me in my sleigh. Our horses galloped neck and neck for miles. Who won? I asked. But Grandma was asleep again. So here's Clover and here's Grandma, and they're in the sleigh in the snow on the story she remembered then. So on Friday, well, Father mowed the lawn. I pulled out the weeds. Mother was painting a fence. She went to the house to check on Grandma. She rushed back up with her fur up. Grandma Pinky is gone, she yelled. I looked for her everywhere. Father stopped pushing his mower. I dropped the weeds. She was cutting bluebells and daisies last, he remembered. But now she's lost, Mother moaned. So here's Mother yelling. Here's me picking weeds, and here's Grandpa mowing the grass. Well, quickly, the three of us tried finding her. A cold breeze blew along the street. Leaves shook above our heads. Wrens and robins worried. Grandma Pinky, Father shouted, where are you? At last I spotted her down the street, standing in my friend Solly's yard, picking begonias, little pink flowers. Were you lost? Mother asked in his quiet voice. I was sure Nutmeg would find me, Grandma Pinky replied, holding my paw softly. So here's Grandma picking the little begonias. Well, it is actually Saturday. After supper, Grandma Pinky yawned. She was tired and went up to bed. Father hid behind the newspaper. He said, she grows forgetful. She's growing old. It was my turn to dry the dishes. I put down the cloth, but she remembers so much, I said. I like to hear it. All the different stories Grandma likes to say. Mother leaned over to give me a kiss. Well, Nutmeg, why don't you go up and tell her about how you like hearing her older stories when she was a kid before she goes to sleep. So here's me washing dishes and drying. Here's Mom helping me. And here's Papa behind the newspaper. Well, I raced upstairs to tell Grandma Pinky. Her lamp was still on. Her book lay open on the bed. Her eyes were shut. I would tell her tomorrow because I didn't want to wake her up. I was about to leave when I saw Grandma's eyes pop open. I remember, Grandma began. I smiled because I always knew that I would get a story when I heard I remember. What do you remember? I asked, and I listened until we both fell asleep. And that's the end of I Remember by cried Grandma Pinky. Well, our next book, I did say I would answer a few questions. Well, I've been asked, what I began, where I became from, and where I grew up. Well, I actually grew up in a small town way back in the hills there called Albany, Oklahoma. I had a graduating class of 8. Most of them was kin to me. And I grew up in a farm with animals and everything. I was a small country boy, and I always loved playing with the animals. So that's pretty much how I began. Well, now let's get started on the other 2 books I got for March. Well, they're called Morris. And since right now you're out for a little break for Easter, I'm going to do Morris Has a Cold because right now it's cold season and everybody's getting cold. So here's Morris the Moose, and here's his best friend Bear. So Morris Has a Cold, written and illustrated by Bernard Wiseman. Morris the Moose said, I have a cold. My nose is walking. So here's Morris talking to his friend the bear. The bear's name is Boris. Boris said, I know you don't have 4 heads, but this is called your forehead. He's pointing right below the antlers of the moose. Morris. Morris said, that is my 1 head. All right, Boris growled. Let me feel your head. So here's Boris feeling Morris's head. So Boris said, your 1 head feels hot. That means you are sick, so you need to get in bed. Yes, I need some rest. You should lie down. So Boris is here feeling Morris's head and telling him he's got a cold. Well, so Morris lay down on the nice cold grass, and there's Boris trying to help him lay down. Boris is over here. He says, not here, Boris shouted. You are sick. You must lie down in a bed. Morris asked, what is a bed? Well, said Boris, a bed has 4 legs. Oh, Morris said, I will not lie down on a bed. I might get hurt. Morris asked, how can you get hurt if you lie down on a bed? A bed has 4 legs, said Morris the bear. I might fall off the bed, he said, when it jumps or runs. Well, Boris said, beds do not jump, beds do not run, beds just stand still. Why? Asked Morris. Are beds lazy? No, Boris shouted, beds are not lazy. Beds are, oh, come with me, I'll show you. That nice bed you can lay in. Here we are, said Boris. This is the town dump. People leave things here. We should find a bed here. Help me look for one. Look for a thing with 4 legs. So looking all through this trash that people throw away to find a bed for Morris. Morris yelled, this has 4 legs. I found a bed. Boris said, no, that's not a bed. That is a table. A bed has 4 legs, but is soft for you to lay on. So Morris keeps looking. I found a bed, Morris yelled. This has 4 legs, and it is soft. Boris yelled, put that down. Come here, I found a bed. Lie down on the bed and cover yourself with these blankets. So he actually had a cat instead of a bed. So Boris the bear found him a blanket. So, no, said Boris. Do not cover all of you. Let your head stay out. Morris uncovered his hooves. Boris asked, why didn't you leave your head uncovered? Morris said, because my head is the one with the cold. Boris said, your head should not be covered. Morris said, oh, I see. Achoo. Morris sneezed. Boris covered Morris's head. Here, said Boris, I found a box of Kleenexes. Pull out the Kleenexes like this. Blow your nose into the Kleenex so that we don't get germs everywhere. If you're sick, you always blow your nose into Kleenex. Boris growled, you are pulling out a lot of a Kleenex and wasting them. Morris said, I have a lot of nose. Because he's a moose, of course. So Boris said, you have a sore throat. I know what is good for it. I will make you some hot tea. Hot water? Asked Morris. Boris said, tea. Don't you know what tea is? Yes, said Morris, I know what tea is. Tea is a letter like A, B, C, D. No, Boris yelled. Tea is... Oh, wait, I'll show you. So he found some tea bags and found a stove in the dump, and he heated him up some water, and he told Morris, this is tea, said Boris. Drink it. It will make your sore throat feel better. Morris coughed again. Here, said Boris, I found cough drops. Morris asked, a cough what? Said Boris. Boris said, drop. No, Boris shouted, put these in your mouth. It will make your sore throat feel better. Boris growled, you chewed it. You should have just sucked cough drops. You should never just chew them. That won't help that way. Morris said, I am hungry. All right, said Boris, I will make you some tea, something to eat. But first, stick your tongue out. Morris said, I will not stick out my tongue. That is not nice. Never stick your tongue out for somebody because it's really not a nice thing to do. Morris shouted, stick out your tongue. Morris stuck out his tongue. Stop, Morris roared. That's not nice. Morris said, I told you it was not nice. Morris growled, that's because you did it the wrong way. Look, this is how you stick out your tongue when you're not feeling well. So Boris looked, because Boris is acting like Morris's doctor now. Boris looked down at Morris's tongue. Oh, Boris said, your stomach is upset. Morris asked, did you see all the way down in my stomach? No, said Boris, I didn't see all the way down to your stomach. I just saw your tongue. Your tongue is white. That means your stomach is upset. I know what you should eat. I will make some soup. Some what? Asked Morris. Soup, said Boris. Soup is, oh wait, I will show you again. So Boris went out and found him some soup mix to cook on the stove he found. Boris said, here is a bowl of nice hot soup. Morris licked the soup. No, said Boris, use the spoon. You should never lick things. Just always use the utensils you use when you're eating. Morris used the spoon. No, said Boris. Put the spoon in your mouth with the soup in it. Morris put the spoon in his mouth. No, Boris shouted. Give me the spoon. Boris fed Morris the soup. Boris ate some soup too. Then Boris said, it's getting dark. Go to sleep if you're cold. It is better in the morning. I will make you a big breakfast. A big what? Morris asked. Boris said, breakfast. Breakfast is, oh, go to sleep already. In the morning, Morris said, my nose is not walking. My one head is not hot. My cold is better. Make me a big breakfast. All right, said Boris, but you have to do something for me, Morris asked. What?
don't ever get sick again, because Boris really had a hard time working with Morse. Well, that's all for March, so I hope you enjoyed the stories for this month. And always remember, when you think pink, think of me. Love you all, Alice A.